Hi guys. So this should be a quick video. I'm just going to make it going over the test review sheet because we're still going to have our test on Friday, which is tomorrow. This worksheet I also attached so you guys can try it on your own first if you'd like, and then you could just watch the video to check to see if you got the correct answers. All right, so the review sheet is going to look just like the test in that there starts with a couple of multiple choice. We have some labeling of a diagram, we have some short answer, and then we have a graph at the end to plot a couple of points. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, especially the multiple choice. There's really just one right answer. So if we take a look at number 1, it says, what formula do we use to find the constant of proportionality? So this is important for you to know. You are not going to be given the formula on the test. So anytime you are looking to find K, you must use the formula y divided by x. So that would be choice B. Choice A puts the x on top, which is incorrect. It's not x divided by y, and it's definitely not y divided by k because k is what we're looking for. So B would be the correct answer for that one. For number 2, which of the following equations do we use for a proportional relationship? This is another thing that you have to memorize. So for all these choices, they're using the same 3 letters, K, X, and Y, but they're just putting them in a different order. But the correct one would be choice C. Y equals KX. The K is always comes before the X. So that's another thing that you want to make sure that you have memorized for tomorrow. Number 3 is just making sure you understand how to plot points. It says if we start at the origin, which is in the middle, how would we move to get to the point -3, 4? So what you have to make sure you remember about points is that the first number is your x value and your second is your y. So the x value always tells you whether or not you're going to go left or, can't spell left apparently, left or right. And your y value, which matches up to the y-axis, tells you whether you're going to go up or down. So if our x is a negative number, we're going to go 3 to the left. So that would already leave me with choice B. But just to confirm, 4 is positive, so my y would be up. So positive is up, negative is down, and then for x's, the negative is left and positive is right. So that is choice B. Okay, number 4 just wants to know which of the following graphs are proportional. So you have to make sure you remember that a proportional graph has to pass 2 things. 1, it has to be a straight line, which it looks like all of these are. And then 2, it needs to also go through the origin, which is right here in the middle. So as I can see with this graph, it does not touch that point. This one also does not touch that point, but this graph, in fact, does, because if this is the line, it goes right through that purple circle. So that would be choice C. Okay, number 5, which ordered pair represents point C? So point C is over here in quadrant 1. So to write the point, you look at the x value first, which is a 2, and then you look at the y value, which is a 4. So 2, 4 has to be the correct answer, which is choice A. Okay, moving on. In which quadrant are all points going to be positive? So just as a reminder, this is quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. It makes a C. So all positive numbers always starts in quadrant 1 to upper right. Everything is positive on the x-axis and everything is positive on the y-axis. So that is choice A. Number 7, what is a unit rate? So this is what we just did in our last topic. So it says the total amount of something in a given situation, the ratio of 2 quantities where the denominator is always 1, the difference between 2 quantities, or the sum of 2 quantities. So the difference means subtraction, which means we're subtracting 2 things, but that is not a unit rate. Sum means we're adding, also not a unit rate. So what we have to remember is that we're on the topic rates and ratios kind of go hand in hand. Also, the key thing here is that a unit rate is typically we're talking about like prices, especially like a grocery store, but it's always has a denominator of 1 depending on what we're talking about. So that would be choice B. Okay, number 8 wants you to just label the diagram. So I'll label it just so you know what is supposed to go in each section. So the top right here is asking about the quadrant. So this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. This arrow is pointing to the middle point. This is called the origin. And then these two boxes are just representing the axes. So this is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. That's all. Okay, number 9, determine whether the following tables are proportional or not. If they are, state the value of k. Okay, so in order to determine if it's proportional, we have to check to see if we get a constant k, constant of proportionality, over and over and over again. So you have to make sure you understand how to read this table. So all of these, there's actually 4 points here. This here is point A, we can call it, I'm just making up a name for now. We can make this one be point B. We can make this one be point C. And let's get another color in here. And this one could be point D. Again, I'm just calling them whatever, just so that we can see that there's 4 different points here. So in order to find k, you have to remember k is y over x. So if we start with point A, my first y would be 3, and my first x would be 21. Make sure you're going in order. Y has to be first, then x. Do not do 21 over 3. This is where a lot of students make mistakes. Have to make sure you're putting the correct number on top. Now what you're going to do is you're going to divide 3 divided by 21. I will tell you right now that if you do that in your calculator, you're going to get a decimal. I don't want to see a decimal for k. So if you put this in the calculator, click simp, it should simplify to 1 over 7. So that's for point A, but we need to see that all 4 times. So if we move on to point B, B has a y of 10. It's right here, 10 is my y. 70 is the x. And if you simplify this again, click simp in your calculator. Once again, you're going to get 1 over 7. Moving on to the next one. If we put y on top for C, that's 7. And x on top is 49. Again, 1 over 7. Okay, and then the last one has a 5 on top and a 15 on the bottom. Now, if you simplify this one, you're going to get 1 over 3. So I looked like we were getting the same number every time until I got to the very last step, which is giving me a different number. So unfortunately, this cannot be proportional. So there's no k. This is not proportional. So this is a very important example to show you that you have to go and check every single point to determine whether it's proportional. Don't be fooled if they just start to get the same number a few times. Go until the very end. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. So again, point A, B, C, and D. Starting with point A, we have 7 on top is the y, negative 35 on the bottom is the x. If you click simp, this is going to give you 1 over, or negative 1 over 5. That's my first k. Let's do B now. B has a y of negative 4, writing wherever I could fit, and 20 on the bottom. If you click simp, this is going to give you negative 1 over 5 again. Next one, I'm going to move to C, wherever I can fit it. I'm going to put a negative 11 on top. That's my y. 55 on my bottom. And that's going to give me, once again, negative 1 over 5. And we're going to check the last one. 3 on top, negative 15 on the bottom. And that's going to simplify to negative 1 over 5. So this did have a k of negative 1 over 5. So this was a yes. Okay. Next one, it says find the k. Again, these are very repetitive questions. This time also write an equation to represent it. So make sure you know that for a point, you have an x and a y. So if I'm looking for k, I need to do y over x. So in this case, y is negative 24 and x is 6. Okay, so if you're going to divide this, you're going to get negative 4. So that gives you the k. That answers the first part of the question. But the second part is to write an equation. This is where you have to memorize. These are the 2 things you have to memorize. The formula for k and the equation of a proportional relationship. But you're not done if you just write y equals kx. You have to fill in the k. So because the k we got was -4, then we're going to put a -4 where the k is supposed to go, which is right in front of the x. That's it. That's all you have to do. Let's do it one more time over here. X, y. Find k first. Y over x. Y is 20. X is 4. Divide, you get 5. You have your k. Rewrite the formula that you have to memorize, y equals kx, plug in the k as 5, and you're done. Okay. Here's another example. It's just that this time they're giving you a graph instead of a point. However, you can find points on this graph. Now, just looking at this graph alone, it's straight and it goes to the origin. I know it's proportional. So does that mean I have to go through and check every single point? No. You pick one. I'm going to label them just to make it easier. So if one of you chose A and another of you chose C or B, you're still going to get the same answer. So in this case, it does not matter which one you choose. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose A because it's closest. You do Y. Sorry. To find K, you do Y over X. See how I keep repeating myself? So this point here, let's use a brighter color. This point here, point A, we have to start with Y. Y is 2. X is 9. If you put that in the calculator and click simp or just divide, you're going to keep the same number. It can't be simplified anymore. So K is 2 over 9. So the equation, again, this is the formula for the equation, y equals kx, but you have to plug in that 2 over 9 for your k. That's it. Okay, while I was gone, you guys did examples of unit rate. This was in another example. It says Nick made $62.50 washing, it's supposed to say cars, not cards. If he washed 5 cars, how much did he make per car? Okay, so the question is asking how much, so this is money, did he make per car? So they want money on top. Why is this not working? Money on, sorry, give me a second. Money on top, and then cars on the bottom. There we go, cars on the bottom. So, how much money did he make? We have that on top, 62. I don't know why this is giving me a hard time, sorry. Give me a second. Nope, doesn't want to work. 62, come on, 0.50, and 5 was the number of cars. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your calculator and you're going to divide 62.50 divided by 5, and it's going to give you 12.5. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So I already put the dollar sign for you. $12. This is technically 50. They don't put the 0 in the calculator. 50 cents per car. That's all. Very simple. And last one is just practicing graphing points just to make sure you know how to do it. So they want you to plot point A first, which is 2, -8. So again, these are all X's and Y's. So you start positive. This is your X-axis. Positive 2 is here. And you go down to -8, which is here. So if you do it like Battleship, they connect right here. We're going to label that A. Next one is -6, so I'm starting on this side. Going up to +4, they meet right here. That's B. I'm going to erase these as I go so I don't confuse anybody. Moving on to C, we have all positives. It's going to be in quadrant 1. +3 up to +5, they meet right here. That's C. And the last one, all negatives, that's going to be quadrant 3. So -4 and -7 meets right here. So that's point D. And that's it. So that's the whole review sheet. So this is what you can expect to see on your test. If anyone has any questions, you can message me throughout the day. I'm happy to help anybody if you need help. And good luck studying. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.